on the Street. Speaking as someone who is a big fan of Homicide: Life on the Street, the show, and the original book that it is based on, which was also to some degree what The Wire wound up being based on, 40 Years of Life on the Street sounds a lot harsher than it actually is in this case. Then again, Snuffleupagus could be the result of a bad trip. But anyway, it's basically just kind of a little book, a celebration. It's kind of like the many books that you see coming out of like Dorling Kindersley for Star Wars, like the visual guides and whatnot. Just a nice, fun little look through a little bit of the history of Sesame Street, which runs about 23 pages, give or take here. A nice little, there's a Spine celebration, 40 Years of Life on the Street, limited edition book, more, because it's a continuous image there, and so on. Then we have Disc 1, Sesame Street, 40 Years of Sunny Days, Images, Disc 1, 1969 to 1989, Seasons 1 through 20. You can bet this is the one that's going to have the Star Wars content on it. The Spine there, Sesame Street, 40 Years of Sunny Days, Disc 1, has the years again, the seasons again, and then DVD, and right next to it, it says,
Full screen!
Duh, or
Duh!
and a little bit about it on the back. Sesame Street, 40 Years of Sunny Days, Disc 1, years, seasons again. Test your knowledge, Portable Sesame, did you know? And some information to go along with each, your various stats and whatnot, and your logos, Region 1, legalese, etc. Inside, artwork-wise, it is a slim, clear case. You have some artwork, some grayscale stuff there. The disc has Cookie Monster. Can you believe I'm doing something on Sesame Street on this show? I like it, but I've got a 4-year-old now. Sesame Street, and the same stuff about the disc and years and all that kind of stuff. Your various legalese and logos right there. Okay? Before we look at what the Star Wars content is on Disc 1, let's look at Disc 2. Similarly designed, different colors swathed down here for the Disc 2 part. This is seasons 21 through 40, which ran 1990 through 2009. Similar design there and there. Another of these grayscale images. Similar disc design with Elmo on this one. If you put this in to actually play it, it takes a while to actually get to the content because it's going to give you, there's like an unskippable advertisement for Sesame Street that's sort of like, kids are counting in the United States. Kids are counting in China. Kids are I don't know if they're in China or not. Kids are counting in Africa. Just naming all these different places. As sort of anytime you buy one of our products, the proceeds go to the Sesame Street Foundation or whatever it's called, workshop, which allows us to continue creating this content which is used around the world, which I thought was pretty cool. And then it's like a little video introduction where it gives short clips and it keeps going through Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, which would be cool if you could skip it. But instead it's just this monotonous thing before you ever get to a menu. The menu system is then divided up into things like bonus features, and you can basically go into it and play everything, or you could go season by season to look at stuff. Just making it a little bit easier to navigate all these different seasons worth of content, because it's 20 seasons per disc on each of these. For Star Wars, if you go on Disc 1 and go to Season 11, and there's some question about this, but you go to Season 11, you're going to find a little clip called One You Go Beep. Sounds like R2-D2 should be in it? Yes, this is a C-3PO and R2-D2 guest spot here. And basically the gist of it is that poor Big Bird wakes up and his head's all screwed because he can't remember how to keep his numbers straight. He's so confused. And in the past, there had been a previously existing segment on Sesame Street with a song called Beep, singing about how to count, using like beeps to represent the numbers and so on. And they essentially remade it here with C-3PO and R2-D2, although C-3PO does note that they can help with counting, not because they're droids, they didn't use the word droids, but because we are computerized robots. Maybe it's an alternate universe where that's what they call droids, and that's why we don't see Big Bird anywhere else in Star Wars fandom, Star Wars canon. Anyway, but it's basically just the song. You know, it's C-3PO, who does appear to be Anthony Daniels, and Big Bird singing like when I say one, you go, or whatever. And as they go to each number, it's just R2D2 beeping that number of times. And at one point they're like, what about 26? And R2 goes into beep, 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 like one of the long, sets of sounds from Star Wars, which I guess kind of adds up to 26. But yeah, it's just the beep song from Sesame Street redone with C-3PO and R2D2 there with Big Bird, where R2's beeping is the beeping of the song. Kind of a creative way to remake that. I do find that there is some question as to when this actually aired. That seems to be the case with a lot of these, because if you actually look on the Muppet Wiki, yes, there is such a thing, it says that this actually aired as part of season 12 on January 30th of 1981, rather than as part of season 11. But everything in this puts it within season 11, and they did have those other appearances, which tended to be during season 11. So I wonder where lines or wires are crossed, who's got it right, who's got it wrong. I am not a Sesame Street aficionado or a Muppet aficionado by any means. But just a nice little way, if you're looking for something really weird, kind of odd, for your Star Wars home video library, and you like just finding things that have Star Wars segments in them, kind of like, Saturday Night Live with Carrie Fisher, perhaps, that sort of thing, then, this might be something to pick up. Again, it's Sesame Street, 40 Years of Sunny Days. It includes, on Disc 1, under Season 11, the Star Wars version of One, You Go, Beep, also simply known in other cases as Beep. Yeah, an odd one to be sure for my Star Wars.